It's Rome! And this is Homefront. Thank you very much for joining us. And today we're going to discuss young persons and the vaccine. Producer, I would like to know. So I ain't young enough to discuss this by myself. Or two little gray hair I get in my bed. You see, next week I'm going to diet, right? Because I thought I was a young person on this show. But we are joined by a younger person than myself. He's only 20 years old. He goes by the name Che Harper. Welcome, Che.
Nice to meet you.
All right. So, Che, I heard that you're a part-time student. So you're working and going to university?
Correct, yeah.
All right. So, Che, the reason why we have you on the show today is that a lot of people are thinking that there's a disconnect between the older generation and your generation in terms of, I mean, dealing with COVID-19 and the vaccination drive and all of that, is where people feel as though they're out on these platforms speaking, but the young people not listening, because I'm hearing that a very, very small percentage of your age group actually took the vaccine. So, first of all, let me ask you, do you think there's a disconnect between your generation and the older generation?
Yeah, definitely. To demystify the entire process, we live in an age of information. And this information is being made readily available at our fingertips from very, very young ages. What members of the older generations would understand is that they are dealing with persons at very meager ages that are very, very mature because of that loss of innocence at a young age. Because of that, when it comes to bridging the generation gap, you can't take the outdated perspective of, okay, that's a child, let me approach him as a child. I think instead, you have to take a more mature approach, and I hate to say it, but see the younger generation almost as someone being close to an equal, if you understand where I'm coming from.
So speak on the same level with them versus speaking down to your generation then.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right,
because the information is being made readily available. We are more mature than you all were when you all were our ages, because again of that information.
Brothers, you call you all, I in your age group a little bit still, eh? Don't push me out, don't push me out. But let me ask, all right, every Saturday, actually every day they have the COVID-19 briefings, and then on a Saturday they would have these press conferences.
Correct, yeah.
Your generation, are they even looking at these things?
Absolutely not. Again, everything is readily available. Everything is click, 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 click. A lot of us aren't even tuning into TV anymore.
So does your generation watch the news, read newspapers?
In my own opinion.
You gotta be real with me. You gotta be real. Be real, your friends you're lying with all the time.
As possible. My friend group is a little bit older than I am, so that's like the 25, 26, 27 age.
Right.
No. So why would we look at a television station, endure all of the advertisements when we have Netflix, we have Amazon Prime, all of these streaming services? Everything is quick, everything is fast. There's no reason for me to sit down and endure that. We get our information from TT News before news,
right,
as opposed to TV6 News. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Right. So in terms of, you all get a lot of your information on the internet itself.
Correct, yeah.
Versus, as I say, traditional media formats.
Yeah.
So then, okay, you're looking at the internet. How could the older generation reach your generation to get the messages across? Because, as I said, a very small percentage from the stats that we have of your generation has taken up the vaccine. How can the older generation reach the other?
I think the bridge between the gaps start with art. And when I say art, I mean look toward the actors, the musicians of our generation, because those are the people that we follow. And I think it has been the same with generations past, where the persons at the forefront of the generation, the persons that hold the most influence, are the people at the forefront of entertainment. If somehow we could use those persons as a medium to basically promote whatever it is we want to promote, whether it be health consciousness, vaccination consciousness, so on and so forth, I think persons in my generation would be more receptive.
To listen to them.
So
meaning like entertainers from your age group.
Exactly so, yeah.
So if we're talking entertainers, I want to tap into your mind.
Yeah.
Who would be some of these people that your generation would listen to in terms of influencers. It don't have to only be entertainers, whether it's sportsmen or anybody in the public light. Who would some of these people be?
Well, in this day and age, it's all about the music.
Right.
It's all about the music. If you look at the whole Trinidad dancehall wave.
The Trinidad movement.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a movement.
Yeah, it's taken a hold of our generation. It has already. We listen to these artists.
Right.
Day in, day out, we listen to these artists. Now, if the message changes ever so slightly, I think you're onto something. I think you have where members of my generation, we are ready to tune in because they speak our language. They walk our walk, talk our talk. We understand them. But we don't understand a 60-year-old coming on to preach whatever he is trying to preach because we aren't even there.
Right.
You understand?
Right,
we aren't even on television.
Right.
We're on Instagram. Not even Facebook anymore. That's how quick time.
So your generation is not really on Facebook again?
Barely.
Like old people think?
Old people think, yeah. Yeah.
Wait! So everybody with a Facebook account right now, we all it? We all.
Hello, Dr. Janine St. Bernard here, County Medical Officer of Health for County Caroni. Anyone who can take the COVID-19 vaccine should take the vaccine. Now let me be clear, the vaccine is not a cure, but it definitely protects you, like a seatbelt, which protects you from getting seriously hurt even if you are in an accident. That's what the COVID-19 vaccine does. It reduces your chance of getting the virus and spreading it. Also, even if you do get the virus, then the vaccine significantly reduces your chance of getting very sick and dying. It's that simple. So don't delay. Get vaccinated today.
So the young people, all right. First of all, I'm going to break it up in layers. We're looking at the entertainers. So you said music is the thing, the Trinidad movement, the Zessa movement. So we're looking at people like Prince Swani, and some of those guys, Young Brother, Trinidad Killer, some of those people.
Exactly, yes.
Somebody, I just call in somebody else just off the top of my head, right? In terms of sport, do you think any of the sport personalities will be able to influence your generation?
Yes, but I don't think to the same extent.
You think more
that
the
an
music?
artist.
Right.
I do believe so.
We're looking at entertainers. Then the next level is, one is getting the right people to speak to your generation, but two is the right platform. So you're saying not traditional media, not the news, not the newspapers. We're looking at social media, you're saying? Social media platforms. What are the platforms? Not Facebook. What platforms are you looking at?
Definitely Instagram. Instagram is where it is at nowadays, and I think you would be able to relate when you see the different pages sharing news, but in a different format, and how many people are receptive to it and how quickly they tune into it. Instagram, definitely. Me personally, I'm a YouTube guy.
Right.
Information is being made available
Yeah,
there.
a lot of people tell me they saw YouTube videos.
You learn so much there. A lot of people, that is where they form their opinions. That is their source of information, of knowledge.
So Instagram, YouTube. What about TikTok?
Definitely.
TikTok.
Definitely.
TikTok. So when, ladies and gents, when you see your daughter and your son in front of the mirror and they're looking like they're doing weird dances and you might even know the songs, chances are they're doing a TikTok video. I have seen it. I have a TikTok account myself. It is very, very entertaining, and a lot of the youths are on TikTok.
Definitely.
So we're looking to reach them through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Anything else we're missing?
Anything else would be
What about Twitter?
secondary. Yes, but still very, very much secondary.
Behind those three?
Yeah.
Right. So we're looking at those three platforms. We're looking at using the entertainers to help to deliver the messages. Correct. Do you think the younger generation would listen to the doctors and to the minister, or do you think that would seem as an old person talking to them?
They will, but yes, it will seem like this is an older person that isn't from my generation, doesn't understand my struggle, doesn't understand my language. This is a person coming to speak to me about something that they aren't taking my perspective. They aren't taking my perspective into account at all.
Right.
So what we should try to do, get younger doctors.
Yeah, the younger doctors. All right.
You mentioned TikTok. I know for a fact I forgot his name. There is this doctor that normally tries to debunk certain health.
Yeah. I saw it. And he's on TikTok too.
look at how many people he is able to get to. We are talking millions, and TikTok is at the forefront right now. TikTok, millions of people, more than Instagram, more than the YouTube. If we could use that avenue, again, we are onto something very, very stellar.
Yeah.
Because now we have somebody who seems hip sharing information to us, and it's on a platform that we are comfortable with, we are familiar with. What do? We are receptive to it. We share it. And it spreads like a virus, but a good one.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I like that. And for you who just joined us, TikTok is not a new clock that came out. It is actually a social media app that all the young people are on, and we're trying to make sure we reach them with all the information. So then, Che, we have not been stressing on these platforms, but yet still you got the information. So why did you take the vaccine?
I took the vaccine because of personal experiences within my own family. I hate to share it, but I have had family members who have succumbed to the COVID-19 virus. And seeing that it was made available to me and there was an avenue, I must commend the healthcare workers and stuff. They are creating avenues for persons to go get vaccinated. It was made available. I decided it was the best decision for me, personally, as a young person. And I see where the virus is taking the world, and I don't want to be left behind.
Right.
Yeah.
So you made that choice on your own?
I made that decision completely
based on what you saw around you taking
correct.
place. All right. So with that, we're going to take a breath, relax a bit as we dive into our mindfulness moment.
Hello and welcome to today's Mindful Minutes. Today I'd like to talk to you about being with difficult emotions, really being with the uncertainty, because COVID has been a time for all of us that's been that. What I'd like to invite you to do is to practice something called RAIN. And the way that works is, first of all, just checking in with yourself to see what you're feeling. The R stands for recognizing whatever emotion you're feeling right now. See if you can name it, because that actually helps it to dissolve. Good. A stands for acknowledging where you feel that in your body. Where do you notice that you carry that? Perhaps in your chest or in your abdomen. I encourages us to investigate why we are feeling what we feel, what were the events that led up to this situation, and also what possible actions we can take. And N stands for nurture, meaning to take care of ourselves, to think about how we can best take action while looking after ourselves and our bodies and being gentle and compassionate with ourselves in the process. I like this acronym because it reminds us that even when times get tough, that we can rely on a technique like our breathing and RAIN to remind us to be here now.
It's Rome, and we are here. We're chilling with the boys. We're liming with the kids. We're doing this all for the PED CARES Foundation. So we need you at home watching us to go donate. Head over to the pedcares.org and send that donation, whether it's via credit card, direct transfer, because we want to make sure that the kids of our pediatric emergency department get the best possible care that they can get, because we need to take care of the next generation. The future lies with the kids. You all ready? On three, we go and say yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yay! The PED CARES Foundation. And we're back from our mindfulness movement. Very, very relaxed. And we're here with Che. He's given us the insights into the mind of the younger generation. I am very intrigued by this conversation, because I always have this discussion with some of the people in the older generation, and they don't realize that there is that disconnect. Simple things, as in WhatsApp discussions. Your generation has a different language in terms of acronyms that you all use. Like somebody messaged me the other day and they say IDK, and I was like, what's that, boy? And it is I don't know. And then they use a lot of these abbreviations, and we wouldn't know what they mean. So that's why we want to tap into your mind a bit. So tapping into your mind and your generation's mind, what would you say are some of the reasons why your generation have not taken the vaccine? What you've been hearing on the ground?
What I've been hearing on the ground
from your peers, people around your age, what do you think?
What I've been hearing is a lot of superstition. I actually spoke to one of my colleagues about it, and what she was saying is that we have this culture of, again, superstition, this culture of conspiracy that we are allowed to see between the cracks of our logic. And it happened to me, I can't lie, because at first you succumb to the social media. Everybody's like, no, don't take that vaccine, no, it's this, is that, it's done so quick, it can't be safe. And unless you really try to dig and search, you succumb to the lies, the facade that it is unsafe. And that is because the generations that are in charge of distribution, the generations that are in charge of providing that information, they make it so mysterious to our generation. I'm sure members of past generations, I'm sure you will be able to understand what they're trying to communicate, but we can't. Put quite simply, if you are telling me as a doctor, this vaccine is safe for me, and I have 3 friends telling me, nah boy, and I'm taking that, I won't listen to you. Because again, it's all about being hip. It's all about the superstition. It's all about being accepted. So again, I must refer to my previous point. You use the channels and the avenues, the mediums that we look up to, that we are receptive to. And in turn, you see where you are telling me, no, the vaccine is safe. And my 3 friends are telling me, yeah boy, Prince Wani, take the vaccine, this rapper, that rapper, yeah, he took the vaccine, And I'm like, well, I don't want to be left behind. I can't be left behind. And all
because
of a sudden,
it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to get vaccinated.
You make it something acceptable socially, and in our circle, it isn't socially acceptable.
Right.
In the younger circles.
In the younger circle, yeah.
Because again, superstition.
When I hear you say superstition, I started saying Sukuya and Duen and Laja Bless.
Well, when I say superstition, you hear they talk about blood clots. That was like the first thing.
Right.
You hear they talk about your heart stop beating, you grow a 3rd arm. It's a bunch of nonsense.
Right.
But the way they put it across is so influential. I mean, you can't lie.
Right.
You understand? And members of my generation, we fall for that type of thing. It's all about entertainment at the end of the day.
Okay, so then we have parents and grandparents listening, and sometimes they feel as though they can't get through to young adults, people of your generation. What advice would you have for them in terms of related, not based on COVID-19 or vaccine or anything like that, just generally? How could parents, grandparents, people of the older generation get to speak to you all and get through to you all and communicate with you all?
Well, Rome, that's an amazing question. A question I'm afraid I don't have the answer. It's difficult. It is extremely difficult. In my own experience, it's not all the time I want old people talking to me.
Right.
I won't lie to you. And I think a lot of members of the younger generations feel the same. That's why there's this gap. Sometimes parents try, they do reach out, but we aren't always there on the other end, lending that hand.
To receive, right.
One thing my family uses, funny enough, is social media. Sometimes to communicate, we may not be able to do that in person, but a quick message, it finds a proper balance in between creating an awkward situation and creating a situation that is very, very much needed. We're just right in that comfort zone where, all right, Granny, want to know how I'm doing, instead of, son, come sit down. Because that's slow.
She's on a message. Quick. What about a WhatsApp family group?
Exactly. That is quick. You see, the thing about it is, for us to sit down in person and have a conversation, it takes a lot of time. But members of my generation, we are quick, go. We're always on the go. That's how our minds work. So a message would always be quicker. Hey, Che, how are you doing? Hey, Rome, how are you doing?
Right.
You need something, we are brothers in our family, instead of me coming to sit with you and you saying, okay, this is, hey, just send me the listener, and you send me the listener, and we get to the bottom of it.
Another thing is like location. When somebody would say, I'll come in and check you later, whatever, and somebody from the other generation say, well, when you go, you make a left by the mango tree, and then you turn, you would see the upstairs house.
Exactly.
I was like, yo, auntie, just send me the location.
Exactly.
How you just do that?
And that's the problem now. You see, when they are able to grasp a whole of these networks we have at
Right.
our disposal, we are now able to accept them just a little bit more. So now you're on this old guy that just, you're like, what's up, big brother? Let me go live.
Yeah.
You understand? And we are able to communicate, but it's a very, very delicate process, and you need to creep into it.
One thing I would leave them with, though, Che, coming from the younger community, I've heard this, all your tanty WhatsApp, ease way up. You see the good morning, and it comes with a whole write-up.
Broadcast.
The broadcast, the tanty broadcast, all that ease me up, ease me up. It's not communicating. So, Che, I want to thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Definitely, my
and
pleasure.
taking us into the minds of the younger generation.
My pleasure.
And what would you leave your generation with in terms of a final message?
In terms of a final message, seek out information. The avenues are there. I know it's difficult, but seek out information and make proper decisions. You are able and very much capable of thinking on your own.
All right, thank you very much, Che. This has been Homefront. My name is Rome. We're here in Dwellings, the place looking nice. Thank you very much for joining us once more.